This is Cult Faction Podcast, episode 44, The Streets of Tatoophenia.
Superman.
Hi and welcome to the Cult Faction Podcast, episode 44, The Streets of Tatoophenia. I am Paul Hawkins, and as ever, I am joined by...
Brett Summers.
And Damien Hicks.
None of that made
no sense to either of us two.
just to explain to listeners, we are having to have a remote call today and record this remotely due to my daughter having COVID, so I am stuck indoors. So we've gone back to the old Teams session. So while there's three of us on the screen and I'm pointing to one of them to go next, obviously they have no idea who I'm pointing to. So yeah,
technology.
We are titling this the streets of the streets of Tatoophenia. Really easy to say. The reason for that is, as long as doing views and news like we always do, we've decided to dedicate a proportionate amount of time, depending on how good it was or bad it was, to the most recent episode of the Book of Boba Fett. But before we do that,
although technically it won't be the most recent because we're recording this the day before the next episode comes out, so technically
we're reflecting back on the previous week's episode.
Oh yeah,
ish. But that's all right. It's all right.
So it's not exactly hot off the press. It's kind of warm.
To be fair, this could be 2030, and you're listening to this now, of which it was season 1 of the Book of Boba Fett when you're on season 50.
Yeah. Well,
let's hope not.
Hey, let's not
save that.
Let's not have any spoilers.
Yeah,
sure. It's got to end with him cloning himself again.
Oh, Damien's just reaching for the spoiler belt. Yeah, so as I said, as long as the views and news that we always give at our podcast episodes, we're dedicating a little bit of our time to the most recently watched by the members of the podcast team of the Book of Boba Fett. So
it's the only thing we're all watching that we can chime in on, so bear with us.
Well, you never know, because we might go through our views and say, oh yeah, no, I watched that too.
I haven't watched much.
Well, okay, maybe that will be the case. So
you might end up carrying that section again, Paul.
Well, why don't we just kick off? We'll forget the frivolities of work and other social life that may be going on. Even though now I really want to talk about it, but I won't. And we'll just start off with Brett. And what have you been doing?
See what you did there. Interesting.
So I thought I'd call on the Alan Partridge.
Aha. Right. This week, this is a bit different for me. I have been sucked into a video game. It was recommended. Yeah, Horizon Zero Dawn was recommended to me. It was massive. Old, wasn't it? Yeah, it came out in 2017. I discovered, and it's had loads of add-ons and bits since. But obviously, what I've discovered is if you wait 5 or 6 years for a game to come out, you can buy it for £6 on the PlayStation Store rather than 60 quid when it came out years before. So although maybe I'm a little bit behind with the trends, I didn't pay 50 quid for it or more. And
is that the one where you go around hunting big beasts?
Yeah, big robot beast things and stuff. Yeah. And yeah, it's an amazing story. It would make an awesome TV series or film.
Well, it probably will be, because they're just making Uncharted comes out soon, doesn't it?
And the sequel to Horizon Zero Dawn comes out next month, and it's Horizon Forbidden West.
And are you going to do something similar and wait 3 years to buy that, or is this
probably
spared you on?
Well, I would love to play it, but I ain't paying 70 quid for it. They can jog on.
So is this a shoot 'em up? Is it a first person shooter? What is it?
It is a first person RPG, as we say in the gang, a role playing game. And basically you're sort of this little girl that gets found in this sort of, the world's basically been nuked and machines sort of walk around and instead of animals.
A dystopian future.
Yeah, and there's all sorts of tribes and things like that. And you're a young hunter and you find this sort of what they call a focus, and you put it on your ear, and when you turn it on you can see sort of computery information and stuff, and it helps you, and it tracks animals, and and as the game goes on, how the world ended up like that, your purpose on it, because she was found in and raised, and what happened to her, what happened to her parents, and it all unfolds through this game, and there's lots of things and lots of storytelling that calls back. And I've just actually completed the game, but I'm just going around now because there's still it's still loads of stuff on there and on the map to be discovered, and free roam and all that. Yeah, very much. I think Fallout 4 is still my favourite of the genre, and probably my favourite computer game ever. But this is a pretty good close second.
Have you played Red Dead?
I played Red Dead, and I killed the vampire. There's a vampire in it. No, there's a vampire in it.
I'm joking.
Yeah.
It's like a Nosferatu one. I found the vampire. I like Red Dead, but some of that got a bit repetitive
Samey
at times.
Yeah.
I just,
Kira plays it, and she's just always off doing similar missions and stuff.
Yeah,
Neve just likes playing it so she can run down rabbits or something on a horse.
I was chopping rabbits up with my staff on this one, and sort of hog things as well that run around. And that, but yeah, no, really good game. And it's one of those you kind of get sucked in on. Like you play it, and then it's sort of 6 o'clock, and then you look up and it's 11 o'clock, and you're like, okay, I guess I'm not doing that now then.
Yeah.
And but I highly recommend that. That's kind of took my time really. I thought, I'll give it a go, give it a play. It was recommended, as I say, and then kind of sucked me right into it, and really good. And
have you tried
for £6? It's a bargain.
Have you tried a new one as well? It's about some plumber fella.
Not if he's got to pay for it. He's not going to be trying it.
It's just
come
out.
Than £6, then no.
I think it was like early 80s. Yeah. Apparently, he just runs around.
No, I haven't got time for that. I'm still trying to get my frog across the road.
So other than playing on your little computer game that's a few years old, anything else?
A little bit of Boba Fett, as I say. I did watch as well. I think it's old now, but it was on over here. They had the Robot Chicken Archie special, which was quite fun, and it was like based on all the Archie comic stuff, but with a Robot Chicken spin, and they really went a little bit more adult orientated than usual on Robot Chicken for that one. There was a kind of a mashup with The Walking Dead. There was some pretty gross things, some in jokes and stuff like that. But yeah, no, it was quite humorous for the sort of 20 minutes that Robot Chicken is. You know what I mean? You haven't got to commit. It's all sketches. You can sort of mark books while you're doing it, for instance. It was all right. And the rest of it, mainly, I've scarily got into like Junior Bake Off and just cheering kids on now to win, and not wanting to get that out because I feel
there has to be one you hate. There's always a kid you hate on those type of shows.
Because they're all really
watched
nice.
it, so it won't mean anything to me. But I just want you to name him.
I don't know why, because I always feel it bad. Oh, if there was, I would name and shame them. Don't worry. Turned out one of them that got voted out the other day was Sonia from EastEnders' daughter, and she was really cool on it. But they never mentioned the Sonia thing at all until after she voted out. So
I was just going to say, is it now?
So she actually got
Kids Bake Off,
but they didn't. It was only after she was out. Yeah, so I kind of admire that as well. They didn't try and Sonia's daughter from EastEnders is in here, and actually, she stood on her own 2 feet. But I think.
But how did she get the gig though?
Well, she applied like everyone else.
Yeah, did she though?
Yeah, but That's just weird because we're already talking about this. So, I brought it up. No, but like, I just find it really weird that they put kids in that. I mean, I know there's competition and winners and losers, but like something like Bake Off, where there's only 6 or 7 of it, that's like a high stakes mental cruelty thing for children, surely. Especially when you go, actually, your cake was shit. Go home.
Did you literally just watch it so you can put #Bake Off? Well, when we post this online to try and get more people listening.
Do you know what? I didn't even think of that, but
That's a damn good idea.
I think my brain does it for me. I think my brain helps me out, and I don't even realise it's like on autopilot, and it's already done that. And I can also put #EastEnders now.
Yay!
But but that's kind of what, because that's on when I get in. So it's only when I've come in from school. It's on about 5 o'clock. It's on. That's the only reason I watch it. I have enough kids all day. I don't need to.
It always sounds weird when you say get home from school.
And your mum's made you tea. You sit down in front of the telly watching it.
After I've cleaned my room.
Yeah, we all know that's
done your chores.
But yeah, so that has been it really. I've been skimming through things, but it's kind of, I'll be honest, like a lot of things. Oh, Death in Paradise, that's been good. I've been watching that.
I'm behind. I'm a couple of episodes behind on Death in Paradise now.
But my theory, all I'm going to say is my theory that I sort of said has been proven correct.
Oh no, you're right. I did watch the first episode of the new season.
Yeah,
and yeah, that was a bit of an odd. It was an odd ending, wasn't it?
But it does pick up. It does pick up.
It has to, doesn't it?
It's got no, but they pick it up in the next episode as well. It comes back to that again, so it's building. They've got like a subplot now.
That's unusual.
I know, but I suppose
normally
after
it's just killer of the week.
Yeah, after 13, 14 years or whatever. But it's quite fun though, because this week's one, was on a golf course. That the golf course that we've missed in the previous 12 series on this small island.
There's been no murders there.
Suddenly it's like, oh, and it's on the golf course. Where's that? Oh, just up the road on the left. It's like, well, it wasn't there before.
Maybe it's new development.
On a replay station.
I don't know that, but I know there's probably on the internet somewhere. Someone has a map of that island where they're adding everything in as it goes along.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's just...
I like you used to get and start books as well, so you could follow the characters around where you go.
I mean, it's going to happen. It should do. But
like the map of Mordor.
But episode 2, it's the first one ever. I think I got everything right.
Well done, Brett.
I will say that. No, because some of them, they're just really surreal. It's almost like 3, 2, 1 clues. Like it's random. But because sometimes you don't get it because it's clever writing. Sometimes you don't get it because it's just a bit weird. It's very much like that curly man that used to do crimes that you liked.
Mr. Tickle.
Jonathan Creek, that was it. The fat curly man. I've forgotten his real name. Alan
Davies.
Alan Davies, there we go. And the woman from Remember Home Badly when I watched it.
Caroline Quinton.
That's right.
Yeah. So detectives are back and it's going well. And that is about it for me this week. It's been, I've been just shooting stuff on my computer instead. It's very stress relieving.
Well done, Brett. It's almost like you progressed into like a teenager.
It's a nice divergence from the usual 80s nonsense that we normally talk about. So fair dues.
So Damien, moving over to you, have you been playing any 10-year-old games or?
No,
that doesn't sound right at all.
I know. I was trying to just gloss over that and move on. But, no, the only PlayStation game I play is FIFA, and that's only because I can have the sound down and listen to a podcast or something and not have to hear what's going on the screen. So it's quite handy for that. So apart from my computer's asking me if I want to draw. That's never happened before. Go away.
Would you like to play a game of chess?
Maybe it's like, because you said that's the only thing you do, it felt sorry for you and said you can draw. You can draw if you like, you sad bastard.
It wouldn't be so bad, but it's a whacking great big pop-up that covers the entire, more or less the entire screen. Go away. There we go. Right. So, I was about to say Paradise Lost, not Paradise Lost, Death in Paradise, which I hadn't even
You've been reading
down.
Paradise Lost, there you go.
No, I'm not reading that again. Jesus. So thanks to an avid listener, I took up a recommendation of a movie that's on Amazon Prime called Lieutenant Jangles or Lieutenant Jangles, depending on what part of the hemisphere you find yourself on.
Tell me more.
I'll give you the.
Did she put up a fight?
What could be the back of the DVD if one exists, but I don't think it actually does.
The synopsis.
So, the synopsis, what would be written on the back of the DVD. It's the mid-1980s in Brisbane, the most crime-ridden city of Australia. Only one man keeps the scales of justice even. Cowboy detective Lieutenant Jangles. After his partner is killed in a blazing shootout, Jangles goes on an explosive, blood-soaked mission to avenge his death. His quest for vengeance unintentionally makes him the enemy of a mysterious new crime boss who has been quietly taken over the Brisbane city. When their paths finally cross, one thing is made clear. This town isn't big enough for the both of them.
Was his partner called Bo?
No, no, it wasn't. But I've been humming that for most of the time.
Does it star Jim Robinson?
Unfortunately not. I was keeping an eye out for any EastEnders, any Neighbours alumni, but it's not even really big enough for that, to be fair.
Oh, okay.
I was hoping the streets are going to be cleaned up by Helen Daniels.
Resurrected from the dead.
Yeah.
No, I mean, this is a straight up piss take or homage to 80s buddy cops movies. Lethal Weapon being the most obvious of those. It's got the lot in. It's got a grizzled police detective, troubled maverick cop, megalomaniac, crime lord, you name it, they're all in there. And it's no way supposed to take itself seriously. You can't watch it and be taking it seriously. Paul, you would hate it.
Oh, okay.
The dialogue is appalling. The acting is a little ropey. The storyline's thin, and the visual effects are best ignored, which is why you would hate it, Paul, because the explosions are clearly added post-production.
I don't like that.
But the thing is, it's all the better for that. That's what makes this
although
great film.
You know, we watched the best 80s film ever made in this millennium.
No. See, this is my finishing tagline for this.
You've ruined it, Paul.
Psycho Gorman may well be the best 80s film made since 1990, but Lieutenant Jangles is the best tribute to an 80s film made since forever.
Okay, so I might like it because I like Psycho Gorman.
But it genuinely is. It's terrible, but it's supposed to be terrible.
To be fair, though, the poster looks amazing. I've just seen that. And also, Salvatore Miranda is in it, and he was bridge crew in Kong Skull Island, tier 2 ghost in Pirates of the Caribbean, the later ones no one cares about, and he was where's it gone? He was a citizen in Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And there was another one, but I can't find it now. And a film that I want to see, he played Louis in Tinderella. I don't know what that is, but it sounds good, but I'm scared it might not be appropriate for this podcast.
I'm certainly not Googling it.
There's a lot of people on here. But yeah, no, I may give that a watch just on the poster alone.
I recommend watching it if you got the spare. I think it's not, I don't know actually. I don't know how long it runs. Hour and a half, probably a bit longer. It feels a bit longer in parts, to be fair. But yeah, it came recommended from an avid listener, and he wasn't wrong. It really is great.
So I don't know whether to feel a bit hurt now because you're recommending it to Brett and one of our listeners, but you're telling me not to watch it.
Well, because every time we watch a trailer where you can clearly see the explosions have been added post-production,
I don't mind that necessarily. I don't mind it necessarily if it's on purpose.
MacBook.
Yeah, you get all shitty
about it.
Yeah, but it's when they're trying to be serious about it. Yeah, if this is a piss take, I might be okay.
It's not. No, I'm not saying it's a piss take. It's an homage. It's homage.
Homage.
Kind of film. Just watch it, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about.
Well, maybe I will if I'm invited into the group.
You can watch through the window like you normally do.
Anyway.
Just bring snacks.
Yeah, just leave them on the windowsill and then go. So what else, Damien?
Also started to watch Archive 81.
Oh,
yeah.
Anyone started watching that yet?
I haven't had a chance yet.
Okay, so it's a strange one for me. What's strange? That'll do. It's a strange one for me to talk about because I listened to the podcast, so I know roughly the story. I don't remember everything that happens in it because I think it ran for quite a while, and it was one of those ones I would listen to on a drive home. So obviously, got to keep an eye out on the road. You can't just drive blindly and listen to a podcast. But the TV show kind of feels.
Hold on, how
slow.
do you see? Do you see through your ears then?
What?
Well, you just said you can't listen to a podcast while you're driving.
No, you can. What I mean is, you can't give it your full.
Oh, right, okay.
You know, we all know when you're driving down a motorway, you do kind of zone out, and you suddenly think, "Fuck me, I've gone 3 miles." I don't remember doing it, but
what am I doing in Glasgow?
Yeah, you still have to, pay attention to the road, which means you can't fully immerse yourself in a.
It's like the end of like He-Man or.
Yeah, we learned today, children. But you could get a driver.
Or get a Tesla.
To all the podcasts.
Teslas can drive themselves.
No, either his picture's froze or he's having a really long drink.
Drag, yeah.
But
anyway,
yeah. So what's it like? Is it worth
because
watching?
I know the story, it's worth watching. It does feel slow, and also the signposts to what's going on, I can spot, but that might just be because I know that certain characters are the ones doing one thing and not doing the other and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, it's definitely worth
as I say, if you've already listened to the podcast, obviously it takes away something that a new watcher might get from it. But
yeah, but it's got everything I remember from the podcast and everything that makes up a good kind of horror story. There's multiple threads in there.
Does it tell? I was just going to say, does it tell the story well enough? If you haven't listened to the podcast, like it's the old book thing, isn't it?
Yes, it does.
Cool.
It probably tells the story better than the podcast.
Yeah, that's cool though. No, I do want to watch it. Yeah, I'm still here. No, I do want to watch that. I was just wondering how it matched up because recent adaptations of things haven't met what people thought expectations. So, actually, I'll ask Paul that one in a minute. But okay. No, I had something for what you were watching. I meant to ask you last week and I didn't, so I'll remember.
Okay.
What? Anything else on the Damien hit list?
Vera, but we don't talk about that.
No, we don't talk about Vera.
She's just trying to be the British Jessica Fletcher, and it's not happening, man. I'm not having it.
She's not. How dare you?
She's an old lady.
Fletcher turns up and someone dies. She gets called after someone's already been killed.
Or did she kill him?
Comparison. I'm not having it.
Has she got a local sheriff? She got a local sheriff and a doctor fighting over her.
No. Poor doctor. The local doctor the closest resemblance would be your man from Zapped.
What's
his name? Paul K. Paul K?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's the local pathologist. And they hate each other. Or they have a love-hate relationship.
Does she have a different nephew each episode?
No. See, there's nothing.
Oh, man.
I think the closest resemblance to a UK-based Jessica Fletcher would be Agatha Raisin, and we don't watch that. It's on some shitty, weird channel. I think Acorn or something.
Agatha Raisin sounds like something you catch.
I'm sure that's what it's called. I'm going to Google that in a minute.
Yeah, it is.
It's on Acorn or something, isn't it? I don't think it's even on mainstream.
Oh, I thought it was on mainstream years ago.
Was it?
I don't know. I don't know.
He started it, Paul. He started it.
In the back of my head, I'm just thinking, are you just going to cut all this out so is it worth just speaking about it?
I'm probably going to cut out the conversation about archive whatever number because that didn't work.
The story of our lives, eh? If only we could cut out little bits.
Possibly. There are bits that got cut out. I'd like to know
I was thinking.
I'd like to know what they were, but maybe not. But anything else, Damien?
No, that's your lot.
Right, Paul, what are you watching then?
Okay, so I'm going to start with Hotel Transylvania Transformania on Amazon Prime, streaming directly on Amazon Prime. Probably a reason for that.
Yeah, sounds.
That's quite a successful franchise, though, isn't it? Or it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just not very good. It's a bit of a shame because they were obviously struggling about where they could take. I was going to say the crew, the cast and crew, but where they could take the characters, and they've decided that they're going to turn Johnny into a monster and all the rest into humans. The
classic switching roles.
Yeah, exactly. But it just didn't feel like it hung together as well as some of the other ones. I mean, 3 was a bit of a push, let's face it, but at least Drac got a love interest, so that was a bit different. But yeah, she didn't really make much of an appearance in this one. A good one. Yeah, just don't. I mean, if you got kids and they liked Hotel Transylvania, then it's a Sunday afternoon film to keep them quiet. But they're not interested in going back for it. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
So moving on.
Is that the end of the franchise, do you think?
Oh no, I'm sure if they think they can get some money, they'll carry on squeezing the life out of Drac for a few more.
Oh, okay then. What else you got?
So finished off The Witcher.
Oh, I'm still on episode 3, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not going to give any spoilers. Don't worry.
Does it pick up?
It improves. It improves a bit. Is it a groundbreaking finale that makes you want to go and look out for
Friday?
Looking for when season 3 drops now. Unfortunately, it isn't. It just doesn't meet the mustard.
Hashtag.
Yeah, no, it's just a bit of a shame. I mean, I said it before. The Witcher season 1, it was all right. Looking forward to season 2. This season's just so, it just doesn't hit the spot. And again, as we talked about last week, it goes off on different tangents. You've got The Witcher being, dad now and training up young Padawan.
Can I ask a sort of spoilery question, but not really a spoilery question?
Okay.
So
I don't know. Can you?
does the balladeer bloke come back?
I wanted to ask the same thing.
Toss a coin for your Witcher. Does he come back?
Have you not got to that bit yet?
No, we're only on episode 3.
So he does. So he does come back, or
I
you
thought
just
we talked about that last week.
No.
Yeah. The little travelling Wilbury comes back.
Excellent. I will watch him.
Yeah.
I thought you could follow that up with, and then he dies.
Yeah, probably does.
You tell me not to spoil it. Yeah, it's an improvement on some of the episodes in this season, but it's not really, a shocker. So I'm not. But I've got that a lot with a load of the series on Netflix at the moment. I'll watch a couple of them and not really go back to them.
Because that one that you watched and we reviewed, the Korean one, when everyone starts getting dragged to hell or whatever it is with the demon things. I forgot what it's called now.
Yeah, the ones that they look like they're off that late 80s, early 90s film with gorillas in.
Yeah. Hellbound. Yeah. I watched the first episode of that, and now it's only when you just said that I remembered I was watching it. So that tells you something.
Damien's editing our memories. But yeah. Anyway, you guys watch the rest of the series and then tell me what you think. But I just kind of thought it was a bit meh at the end. Watched Eternals.
What did you think?
Again, I think this was a bit lackluster. And don't get me wrong, I know it's not a typical Avengers film or whatever, but
they're trying something different with it, aren't they?
But again, I kind of got that they wanted to try that, but then you got some of the hammy comedy that they were trying to bring in from the rest of the MCU films, but not doing it as well, and some of the action wasn't as good, and some of the romance or the poignant scenes weren't as good.
It's just, well, my thing with it, and see if you agree with me, I think that film could have been 3 films, and then by the time it got to the end, we would have given a shit.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? It kind of rushed through everything. Like, they're friends, they're not friends anymore. They are. Oh, look what they did, and but it didn't have an impact because even though it was a long film, it was kind of, I mean, the best bit's the credit scenes again.
Yeah, but they'd need a better storyline to drag that out over 3 different films.
Well, for argument's sake, but they could have developed it more. But they just did.
I think Angelina Jolie was kind of wasted in the role that she was doing. I think the lead that they got that was in Humans on Channel 4 did an okay job, but she wasn't really a lead role.
Yeah, I mean, she's already been in Captain Marvel as well as a different character.
Yeah. The rest of the characters that I didn't really care about, the stereotypical Indian character, which I was a bit shocked that they even included.
I like the fact that he uses powers to get massive in Bollywood, though.
Oh no, it meant his the
guy. Oh no, but the other dude, I thought that was quite clever because it was actually, because we often say, he got powers. He didn't necessarily become a villain, but he used it to sort of get famous.
He used it to improve the world, but he did that with song and dance.
But just like me.
Yeah, and as I said, it just feels a bit lackluster and didn't really, I don't think it achieved what it was trying to set out to, and it's a real shame because it could have been a lot better. And if the grand plan was for this to be, multiple films, which I think it probably was, then I don't know whether it's going to get another one.
Well, I think they'll appear in the other films now they've established them because I don't think it will get its own. No, I don't think it'll get its own again. I mean, because you've got Kit Harington now, who's going to do the Black Knight with the ebony blade. And did you pick up on who the voice was till the end?
Oh, the ebony blade.
Yeah. Well, that was what it was in the comic. They might change that now because it might. But did you see who the picture was? Did you get who the voice was that was talking to him when he said, "Are you ready for that?"
Wesley Snipes, want to be?
Yeah, it's the new Blade.
Yeah,
the new. So we got that in, and then obviously you got Matey coming through his teleport with Pip the Troll at the end.
Yeah,
Mr. Harry Styles himself.
But again, the end credits sequence were actually the best bit.
Yeah, I know it was. That's the thing. It's just like that. Oh, I'd agree with you.
They could have saved themselves a fortune, and me's 2.5 hours by just releasing a snippet of those scenes.
That's the thing. I mean, it was well shot. It was well made and everything. It just either needed to be longer to explain it more, in my opinion, or just shorter to cut through it a bit more. Because it's either too long for what they had, or put a bit more detail in and make it maybe 2 parts or something, or something. I don't know. It got lost. It got lost. It was a good film in there, but it got lost somewhere, I think.
And even the deviants didn't seem that bad, and the great god thing was a bit wasted as well, because I saw the trailer and was thinking, oh great, you got the planet-sized god, they're going to cause some havoc, but no.
Well, that's the sequel setup, isn't it? However they're going to do it. Yeah. But I'm guessing that'll be the Black Knight movie with Kit Harington going after, what's her name? I forgot her name now.
Yeah. Don't worry about it.
The girl from Humans.
Yeah. So that was that. And like yourself, Brett, gone off a few years ago to play, a video game from another decade. I started watching How I Met Your Mother.
Ah. Have you ever seen it before?
I've only seen like the odd episode here and there, but it's on one of the streaming services. I think it was actually on Disney.
Yeah,
after I finished Eternals, I then saw How I Met Your Mother, so I started watching that from the beginning. And I think I'm just coming to the end of series 1.
How are you finding it?
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, it's one of those ones you can just turn on and before you know it, half hour's gone.
Yeah, no, I really like it. Better than Friends.
Yeah, but
Much better than Friends.
one thing that doesn't help is obviously some of the episodes that I've seen are in the future, so I kind of know little bits of what's to come. But yeah, what's not to like? You know, they're nice little cast that obviously gel well together, and I almost said gel well together. And
Well,
you can have fun. You can have fun spotting when the female leads are pregnant because they'll be hiding behind big bags or
wearing baggy jumpers.
And behind tables.
They clearly they phoned up EastEnders and went, "What do you do when someone's pregnant?" And get their handbag to get bigger.
Yeah. But...
And you will see at some point, I can't remember where it is. I want to say about season 4. You will see the episode that I still say inspired Cobra Kai.
Hell yeah! No, there's no way it didn't. It has to have done.
But we'll leave it there. You'll get there, Paul, and you'll be go, "Oh my god, I saw it!"
We know exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah. I don't want to ruin anything because it's a great series, and even the little references they throw in now about things in the future, it all does actually tie in.
Cool.
Like where you do finally find out about the goat in the toilet and stuff like that.
Yeah, so enjoying it so far.
Excellent. Anything else?
Just bits and bobs, really, but nothing really. A bit like Vera, nothing that really needs.
What I was going to ask you, because I don't remember, and you may have said it already. Did you get?
Was it on a New Year's Eve episode? Because I wouldn't guarantee.
Yeah. Was it on? Was it on the? Did you get to the end of the Wheel of Time?
Yeah. I talked about this.
And just a quick one. Oh, we did talk about. I couldn't remember your final verdict on whether or not it matched up or not.
So, I think if I do remember correctly, I said it certainly picked up towards the end of the series. I think it definitely deserves a series 2, and I think it's got that series 2, and I think it's got a bigger budget allocated to it as well, which it desperately needed from series 1. Yeah, it's not as good as the book. Some of the characters aren't as good as they were in my imagination when I was reading it, and a bit underplayed. But yeah, it's certainly a good watch.
Cool. That was all I needed. Thank you. I'm thinking about whether or not to dive into it or not.
Yeah, definitely give it a watch. I think the nice thing about Wheel of Time compared to some of the others that we spoke about, whether that's the Lord of the Rings prequel or the Game of Thrones prequel, is it doesn't have, unless you're an avid fan of the books, you don't really have any knowledge of it, so you're not comparing it against, the successful Lord of the Rings films or the Game of Thrones series that everyone apart from Damien liked. So yeah, certainly give it a watch. Forgive it some special effects. Most of them are good. Some of them aren't. But yeah.
Boba Fett bit. Boba Fett bit. Boba Fett bit.
Boba Fett bit.
Boba Fett bit.
Doom.
Boba Fett bit.
Cool. So next for episode 44 of the podcast is a little bit that we like to call the Boba Fett bit.
Do you get a Boba Fett checkbook and pen?
So the Boba Fett bit, we're talking about the latest episode that we've been watching and has streamed for us. Obviously, the recording goes out a couple of days after we make it, so we appreciate that episode 4 may have already dropped. However, we're going back in time to a galaxy far, far away, to Boba Fett, the Book of Boba Fett season 3.
Warning: this may contain spoilers.
Warning: it may also contain chapter 3.
Oh, sorry.
What did he say?
Season 3. I was like, bloody hell. I was like, someone has wiped my memory.
So I was getting confused because episode 3 is not an episode; they called it chapter 3, don't they? And then I got completely lost. They called it series 3. Sorry,
that's right. You're back. You're in Mos Espa. How you doing?
So, where do we want to start? Do we want to go and give a little overview of what's come before and set the scene about what happens on episode 3, chapter 3, whatever we want to call it?
Let's just stick with the episode. It's easier.
Yeah, but I don't want to get slated by the people saying which chapter 3.
Chapter 3. Yeah, the official title is chapter 3, The Streets of Mos Espa. So I'd say chapter, otherwise we'll just get at least we'd get emails.
You say that, it's just because you're getting edgy about it. You can't take it.
Shut up. Stop getting Star Wars wrong.
Yeah, let's do a little synopsis then of what we've seen so far and where we're at with chapter 3.
See, it's quite hard, isn't it, to remember?
Yeah.
Anyone care to do that?
Okay. We start off with, we see how Boba Fett escaped the Great Sarlacc, and we're digesting there for a while. I'd imagine a few years, but then finally manages to blast his way out.
It certainly wasn't 1,000 years.
He can't have been in there for years, surely.
It's got to be a couple of years, just from the time jump from comparing it with the Mandalorian and that.
But
I don't think
it doesn't make any sense, does it?
He ate quite a bit in there because he went in about £100 lighter.
You can't tell me that he's been unconscious for years.
No, he would have been trapped in there and being digested in pain over 1,000 years.
But it wouldn't be 1,000 years, would it?
Yeah, I know, but that's what they said.
Yeah, no, but it was stupid at the time.
Yeah, no, I'm just quoting them. That's not me.
No, I refuse to accept that. He was in there weeks, months at most. I'm not having it. It's not possible.
Well, how many years are there between? Oh, mind you, we don't know, do we? Because he hasn't met them up with them in the flashbacks. He hasn't bumped into the Mandalorian yet.
But it doesn't make any sense.
No, but that was only a few days ago in the current time, not a few days, but we see him take over. The
Jabba's
throne.
palace from Bib Fortuna. So how Mandalorian's about 3 years after, isn't it? 3 to 5 years after.
Well, he must have been hanging out with the sand people.
So basically, so then he comes up, crawls through the desert. Jawas nick his gear when he faints, ends up with Sam being enslaved by the sand people. Because you kind of get flashbacks, and in the modern time, he's dealing with being a gang boss in Mos Espa and all the frills and spills that come with that. But then in flashbacks, he's then ends up like winning the trust of the sand people. They sort of train him up, and there is an awesome bit. I don't know if you've seen it, but you know the bit when they do the dance around the fire with the gaffy sticks, when he gets like sworn in and gets his robes, and all the sand people dance around the fire. Someone's done a version of that on TikTok and on Facebook too. It's to Thriller, and it fits perfectly. So I don't know if that was what they were using when they practiced, and then they put like a tribal bit over the top. But if you can find it, it is very funny and ruins the scene. But yeah, and then he's with the sand people, and then he's learning that in the past and learning the ways of the deserts, I guess. And in the present, he's learning
how to be a crime boss.
Yeah.
And more social worker than crime boss, but
there is a bit of that. Yeah. There is a bit of that, but I guess are we seeing how he's changed in the flashbacks to the person he is now? I don't know. At least it makes it a bit more interesting, I suppose, than him just shooting everyone.
Well, it doesn't though, does it? Because that's what I want to watch. And to be fair, I think the people of Mos Vespa want to watch it as well, because him, being a leader that's respected isn't going well for him, is it?
You just call it Mos Vespa.
Yeah.
I see what you did there. No, but I'm guessing that's what it's going to come down to, though, isn't it? And they're going to go unforgiving, and then it'll be like, I tried to do it your way, and now you'll do it. Now I'll have to go back to how I used to do things, and then just like kill everyone.
Right. So that's where we were up to, and then in chapter 3, we continue the journey of his youth work experience, where there's the gang. What are they called? The biker gang. The Pike Syndicate. Is it?
Yeah, that sounds right. Because they do that thing like the two J's, don't they? But then they call themselves something else. Well, they're supposed to be hooks. But hey, because I'm not even funny. Jim Jeffries has that as a logo on stage when he does stand up. So once he gets wind of that, he could see them. Sorry, carry on, Paul. I'm butting in.
No, that's it. I just wanted to make the point that he's becoming like a youth leader now in this latest one, and he's adopting pets. He's that. That was
a gift from the Hutt.
Yeah, they're trying to make him into a lovable rogue, aren't they? As opposed to a, death or inspiring bounty hunter.
But do you trust?
And now crime lord.
But But part of me was like, do we trust the Rancor Keeper? Because he's saying like the first person he sees is who he imprints on, and I know that's a bit Jurassic Parkish. But do we trust him, or has he been sent there to like get rid of him?
But the fact that he gave the Rancor a big hug and the Rancor didn't eat him.
Yeah, but it's early yet. Maybe he's been instructed. I mean,
I just think all that's a load of arse gravy to just kind of retrofit some lore into what was essentially a monster.
Yeah, but
it would make a good action figure, him riding a Rancor monster. Maybe that's what.
No, it would, and that could happen. And the other bit was when he said, "I've rode bigger beasts."
Come to shops this Christmas.
When he said he's rode bigger beasts.
So on the Rancor thing, it's Jedi, isn't it? Yeah. So there is that bit when Skywalker kills him, and the I guess what is this keeper or his guard?
Yeah, Rancor keeper.
Yeah, he looks proper devastated when that happens. So maybe it's just a way of explaining that weird cut shot to him almost crying when the beast is killed.
But at the same time,
again, load of arse gravy, but
no. But my thing on it is like, if you've got a Rancor keeper and it's not that big a deal, why have you hired Danny Trejo?
Because it's Rodriguez, isn't it?
Yeah, so I know, but
they'll just do. I know.
They're really
popping down for 5 minutes. I'll do that. Why not?
But I don't know. It just seems that he would at least have some sort of cool fight scene at some point.
I don't know. I think you'll just be a little bit hopeful.
Tragic. I liked Stephen Root as the sort of slimy local businessman who was moaning about the gangs and then realizing that he was actually charging people shitloads for water. He was quite good. I haven't seen him in much since Dodgeball and obviously Office Space as well back in the day. Yeah, and so he's nice to see him still about.
I did see a meme the other day, which was it was him in Boba Fett, but with the caption "Stole my stapler."
Yeah,
still good.
Yeah.
And Ming Na Wen is obviously she's done Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and all that, but like she's 58.
So who's that?
Ming Na Wen, his brother's bounty hunter
bodyguard.
See, my money's on her being the one that turns on him.
Yeah, that could be cool as well because she's. But it's just the fact, like, and she still does, like, in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. now, she's done a lot of her own stunt work and fight scenes and that as well. And then you're like, yeah, she's cool. Then you're like, she's 58.
Age is no barrier in a galaxy far, far away.
No, I know that. And the Force is definitely strong with her. I mean, she's come a long way since doing Street Fighter with Kylie Minogue.
We've all come a long way since those days.
So not only is he a youth leader, not only is he adopting pets, but you also let Chrysanthemum free as well.
Yeah, Black Chrysanthemum, yeah.
I mean, seriously, if I were one of the locals, I'd be saying, you know what, he's a bit soft. Maybe we could take him.
No, I agree with that. I mean, this is I think I said this the other week. It was the if he dies, he dies guy has now become sort of
worse.
But
so
I think
I did a line
pushed.
of I did
You did a line of what?
I did a line of No, I did a list, the good and the bad, and in my bad, I've put, and I couldn't remember the name of him, so I just put Big Chewie. Big Chewie just runs off like Lou Ferrigno at the end.
Yeah.
Like you could literally go da 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 over the top of that, and it was exactly like the ending of the Hulk. Where's he going? What? Just did he walk there?
Sit off.
I think he's chasing the Hutts, but I think we have seen here's what our next series might be.
No, we said that last week. You
Yeah,
said that last week.
Yeah.
I don't. Obviously, I'm not a chowderhead like yourselves. But if he's supposed to be as bad as you say he is in the comics, then I don't see Disney making a show that lives up to that.
I mean, he didn't do anything in the first episode really that he was in, and again a bit flat in the second one. So if he was going to be badass, it would have been by now, surely.
Well, he's going to come back yet, isn't he? Because it's going to turn out that like they're going to do the old, how I was hired was against my code, and now I'm going to come and help you or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that,
And it's going to be
I mean,
everyone's going to be on
Is
the
it going
same
to turn
side.
out that because he let him go, he's got a life debt to Boba Fett, and we just don't know it yet?
It could be something like that, but I don't think Black Chrysanthemum was done as he was sold to be a gladiator in the arena when he was young or something, trained, so he might not know the Wookiee code. If we're going to
I'm sure we'll get some flashbacks.
Yeah.
But I didn't find it too bad. I mean, the worst bit were I didn't even mind the kids on the bikes. The bikes were dodgy.
Jesus.
But the bikes were dodgy. If they had better bikes, they were just too shiny and bright for Star Wars. But
they're like Power Rangers.
yeah. But if they didn't introduce new characters, people go, it's just playing fan service and using characters that people already know. They introduce new ones and we don't want these new characters
because they're rubbish.
Yeah, but let's be honest. If we go back to A New Hope and Empire and Jedi, a lot of the new characters in that weren't the most fleshed out of characters, were they? Wedge has 10 lines in the whole series, and everyone says he's like one of the best characters in the films. It's just like, stop picking obscure characters and pretending they meant more. They've done something.
They just felt lazy to me, straight out of a steampunk playbook, or in fact, I don't think either of you watched it, but the recent Discworld Sam Vimes thing that was on iPlayer.
Oh yeah, you reviewed it, I think, didn't you? Yeah.
Yeah, they would have fitted in that TV show quite easily. Take the mopeds away, but they would have fitted in that quite easily. I don't know, it just didn't fit. It doesn't seem to. And I'm far from a Star Wars chowderhead, but even I could see it just kind of jarred with everything we've seen.
It was just the bike. If they'd had like the old speeder bikes or something, it would have worked. They just gave them these sort of bright, like Vesper-y kind of. Yeah. I could even put up with the eye and the bit stuck in them, but the bikes just they weren't. Especially for Tatooine, where everything's like wrecked and second hand.
Maybe there's a Brighton seafront that we don't know about yet.
And that's the next one. End. The guy with the robot eye is going to meet his old mate, but it turns out he's got a leather jacket on, and it's all just going to kick off.
Maybe.
Is that when Boba Fett and Chrysanthemum, whatever his name is, goes on a Jolly Boys outing?
Yeah, the planet Margate. What makes me laugh, though, is one of the Gamorrean guards is played by UFC Hall of Famer Frank Trigg, who was like, I'm in the
Tell you what, your memory is seriously worse than mine. We discussed that last week.
Yeah,
I know, but that's what makes me laugh.
Upset by him walking away, and you could see his
yeah, I wasn't going to go to that. But no, but he was. What I was going to say, he keeps going on about, make sure you watch the Book of Boba Fett. I'm in it, and then everyone was like, "Where were you? I watched it." He's like, "I'm the guy in the suit."
Oh, yeah. Let's be honest, though. If
I would be. Yeah. Oh yeah, I would definitely be.
Tweeting every day.
Yeah.
I'd be sacked because I would have done some set pictures like a year before it was due, because I just couldn't hold it in anymore. But the big question is...
back to the episode.
Yeah.
The good thing was there was not so many flashbacks, although the one flashback there was struck me as a bit odd, insofar as we had all that Dances with Wolves nonsense over the last 2 episodes, and then all of a sudden he just jumps on the back of a Ludo, whatever they're called. I don't know what they're called, but they remind me of Ludo in Labyrinth. Buggers off, leaves them all alone. Not one of them goes with him, and he comes back and they're all dead.
Yeah. That was a bit Owen Baru-ish, wasn't it? Uncle Owen, Baru.
Yeah, exactly. I think they should have done. I don't know. We should have seen a bit more of what was going on there.
Yeah, but Star Wars has always been that. You've never seen. I spent the whole 3 of the prequel trilogy waiting to see Anakin Skywalker slice up some younglings, and then when it did, the door shut and that was it. It was like, let's just show us how evil he is. But no. You just kind of got a weird kid's looking face like, what's the matter, Anakin? He's like, and then the door shuts and you don't see it. And they've always done that. I mean, we didn't even see the needle go into Princess Leia with the Imperial probe droid in A New Hope. The door shuts and they walk off. They've always been, I don't know. They've always kept that stuff out of the way for some reason. But we should do it now. I don't, that's always been I guess it's the what you don't see, your brain makes worse, isn't it? Or supposed to, but who knows? But that's been a Star Wars trait all the way through it, though. Like that thing.
I was going to say it didn't work for this human centipede, did it?
They definitely didn't do that. But I know what you mean. But them all dying, and I don't know if maybe I was waiting for him to ride in at the end and save him, but maybe there's one left or something.
Yeah, I don't know if we saw the kid on the fire. I mean, it didn't look like there was a lot of bodies burning there, to be fair. But whether we saw the young one being put on the flames or not, I couldn't quite make out, and I've not been asked to go back.
It wasn't it clear. There was a black robe, which I guess was the chief one, because he had a black robe like Boba Fett did. But yeah, I looked for a kill. I didn't see. I thought they would have made a big deal of it.
Yeah.
Sort of. So maybe he might come back a bit bigger and go like, "Remember me?" Or
well, maybe he's going to save Boba Fett because everyone else seems to be. So
he can't fight for himself anymore.
But so we had that. I did like the slimy mayor's bloke who just looks like he needs a slap. He plays that quite well. I've forgotten the actor's name now. I think he's a comedian in America. The one where like, I'll just see if he's in, and then they go, he's locked the door, and then they chased him. He plays the kind of guy. He reminds me a bit, not as bad, but the guy who was the reporter bloke in Die Hard, and he was the guy in Ghostbusters who shut down the grid.
Yeah.
That sort of he looks like that kind of guy that you just want to slap, and that works because that's what he's playing. And I felt like wanting to slap him. He just seems like a smug prick, and then those people need their comeuppance.
To be fair, he's the baddest bad guy we've got at the moment, isn't he?
But who is the bad guy? That's the big question of the series now. It looks like it's the weird fish people. After all that, I forgot what they were called, but they look like they might be the ones behind it all now because they're all more were coming in on the ship, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
the ones on the train. Yeah, them things. So it might be them now.
But you're right about that guy and the chase. I mean, as bad as the chase was, it was also I did like the tropes in there. The crashing into fruit stalls and the picture, instead of it being a mirror, it was a picture of
Ralph McQuarrie's art. That was a Ralph McQuarrie. I think I had the jigsaw puzzle with that, but in the real picture, actually, I'm gonna look. I'm sure Luke Skywalker.
Don't do it now.
I'm sure Luke Skywalker is in the real picture of it. I think they took him out because it's obviously supposed to be like a portrait of Jabba the Hutt. But that was an original Ralph McQuarrie like concept sketch or whatever from that ended up as I'm sure I had that as a jigsaw puzzle.
Cool. I got some Battlestar Galactica puzzles, but those Star Wars ones. Anyway. So that was cool in a way. The chase was shite. It was bad.
It was.
And you can some of the CGI in it with the mopeds was terrible. But I did like
again.
Just
what
chucked
is it?
in a load of comedy tropes in there just to.
Yeah, what is it with the CGI?
We know this is shite, so we're going to put this in there just to give you a laugh.
Yeah, but again, we spoke about the dodgy Hutt CGI the other week, and the CGI wasn't great for the chase either. It's just bizarre.
Well,
I mean, some of it's really good. The train was good.
Maybe they just spent all the money on the the Rancor.
Yeah.
That didn't look too bad. That looked quite good.
Yeah.
And they obviously need that to look good because I'm assuming it's not just going to be one episode and that's the end of it. They're going to bring that back at least for another 2 or 3 episodes.
And they want to get the toys
ride on them. Yeah.
They want the toys looking good for the Christmas time when it comes out based on the Rancor monster.
Yeah, just the same mould redone again. That was a cool toy though. I've got the one in the loft still somewhere, I think.
Yeah, but this one Boba Fett's going to be able to ride, so that look like a saddle.
If you fancy loaning it out to the Cult Faction Studios, it looked quite good over there.
that means I've got to get in the Cult Faction loft, and that's more dangerous. That's more dangerous than the Sarlacc these days. You could, if something falls on you, you could be trapped up there for 1,000 years. But no, I'm enjoying it though. I mean, it's 7 episodes altogether, so we're kind of almost halfway through. I think it's told a clear story. Is it but is it the best story? Yeah, I get it. But then, I think people forget how bad some of the storytelling was in the original trilogy. And as much as I love it, and it's Star Wars and it's amazing, when you go back and watch it now, some of it is a bit ropey. And I think people forget that, and it's like, they're doing Star Wars wrong. Is it? Well, they're not. It's just that you're 45 now, and you want something more out of it than you did when you were 6, and it was amazing and magical.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that sentiment. I'm not knocking it from a Star Wars fandom perspective, because you're right. That stuff was made 40 years ago, and the storytelling was ropey, but we all loved it.
Oh yeah,
I'm mocking, if you like, is just the way it's being done. The characters are ropey. The main chunk of the CGI is ropey, and it doesn't seem for me. It just doesn't seem to fit. We had the previous episodes predominantly made up of flashbacks that, whilst they were annoying, were telling a story, and we've been moaning about not seeing a lot in the present day. And the stuff we're seeing in the present day is just poorly executed.
But it's one of those things.
Big Chewie running off instead of. I mean, he literally just runs off.
Yeah.
There's no dialogue, no nothing. It's like.
Well, no, he gave him a look, and then he ran off. So it's like kind of. I know what you mean, though. I did laugh when he ran off.
But I was thinking about it the other day as well, because it is very flashbacky. And there was that other series that we watched. I can't remember it now, but that was
Lost.
Flashback. No, that was flashback and then modern day with superheroes. And you just kind of think, well, they could have just told it in sequence. And
Arrow.
With the old superheroes.
Oh, Jupiter's Legacy.
That's right. And it kind of feels like a bit the same. Did they just do the flashbacks to keep people entertained, or to try and keep people, because people have short attention spans, so they can't last 50 minutes or whatever with one plot line? I don't know, but I'm kind of done with the flashbacks.
I don't think flashbacks work if you already know the character. And I know in the entire run of the films, he's probably only got about 7 minutes worth of screen time or something daft like that. But we know who he is.
Yeah.
So it would have made more sense. Well, but it would have made more sense, like you say, to just do the flashbacks as the first 3 episodes.
Yeah.
Rather than keep trying to go back and forth.
Yeah, I mean, it does feel very disjointed.
We saw him in Mandalorian as like you say, the new Boba Fett. So why don't we just see 3 episodes of how he got to be the new Boba Fett, and then pick up the Mandalorian era story from episode 3, 4, whatever onwards.
Yeah, or even series 2.
Well, yeah, you probably could.
I mean, that's basically what Arrow did, wasn't it?
Yeah, the thing with Arrow is that someone like me at least, who had not read the comics, you don't know the origin story of what's his name?
Oliver Queen. Yeah.
So that, for the first season at least, was interesting. It got a bit tedious by season 5 when they're still doing flashbacks. That's bordering on the ridiculous.
The only thing that gives me a little bit of hope is that it's created by Jon Favreau, and the guy is really talented. So maybe the last 4 episodes, bring it back.
Well, he's working with the genius of Favreau is what he's doing is, and he's done it for Marvel as well with the stuff he's been involved in. He's taken what's been dictated from the office of Star Wars, like the high ups, and then he manages to filter it into something that people will actually like.
So basically we're saying, God forbid Jon Favreau hadn't come along, what this would have been like.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, well, look at some of the, he wasn't involved in the sequel trilogy.
Yeah.
And as much as I didn't mind it, I wasn't always blown away by it. And most of those films felt like there were just bits missing and it didn't join together properly. I felt like we were watching a highlight reel. That's my view on the newest trilogy.
Yeah.
But But and he's done the same for some of the Marvel stuff. Like where the cinema bosses have dictated, like, this is what you need to do in this, and he's like, okay, and then he's like, right, I need to make this palatable now, otherwise we're going to get lynched. And and one of the things that he's done brilliantly is that he's made the Star Wars Holiday Special canon now, because in The Mandalorian there was a bit where one of the prisoners wanted to go back for Life Day, which is and then in this one Boba Fett mentions, he says something about, I've ridden beasts 10 times the size of a Rancor, and he refers to I had to look it up, it's what they call the Pars Ich Feuerdunt, which he wrote in the cartoon series, the cartoon bit that was in the Star Wars Holiday Special, and he also had the same gun at one point. But so like George, as much as George Lucas was trying to bury that, you've still got Favreau's now got him made a canon by referring to it. So yeah, I mean, he's got a tough job. You imagine what all the studios and the level of interference of it. There's people every day wandering around with clipboards or sending notes, and it's just like, surely by now he can say, look, just give me it, I'll do it. It's going to be good. Leave me the fuck alone. Sorry, you might have to beat that, but it's not that he hasn't proved himself by now, is it? You know what I mean? Between all the Marvel stuff he's been directing and got involved in, and all the Star Wars stuff he's writing now, it's just give him everything. He's like Jon Favreau, defender of our childhood,
defender of the earth.
Yeah, but no, it's enjoyable. I think it's how it pans out. I think he'll lose his shit at the end, and that's when we'll get the, like, you finally pushed him too far. He's tried to be nice.
Kind of more of a John J. Rambo Boba Fett.
Yeah, I think I'm more like an Unforgiven thing. Like something's going to happen. And that's the final straw. And then he's just going to have to be nasty. What did you say?
We shall see. Is that us done for Book of Boba Fett? I think
I just want to say one thing, and that my favourite part of the entire episode was the little rodent thing walking along a rock in the moonlight. And then a bird swoops down and picks him up. But wait for it, that large frog type thing sticks his tongue out and gets them both.
Yeah,
all three of those things have probably got names, and I'm not even going to bother to go and find out what their names actually are. But I had to rewind that because I thought I didn't even see the frog thing because I was concentrating so much on the little rodent. So I thought that was cool.
Yeah, John Favreau has obviously watched the Gruffalo. And taking it from the BBC.
But there's always been a bit. If you go and watch, I think it's from the special editions of Jabba's Palace. When they do that shot, there's always been like a little creature thing there, and it's kind of, someone's probably done it already. There's probably 3 or 4 clips of that where someone eats something. It's just built up each time. So the next one, someone else will probably come along and eat him after he's at that one or something. And it's just really cool. Just again, that was what we loved about Star Wars the first time around, the little details, the little bits in the background, everything counted, even the details in the background.
Do you know what? I think the look and feel that they've created with both Mandalorian and Boba Fett does immerse you in the Star Wars universe. We've not the CGI and the acting in places, but you do feel immersed in the Star Wars space. And no pun intended, but do you know what I mean? It has the look and feel of the original trilogy. So that's the positive about both Mandalorian and whatever it is we're talking about right now. What are we talking about?
Boba Fett.
Boba Fett.
Boba.
So yeah, that's my closing gambit on episode 3, chapter 3, season 1.
So that was chapter 3. And no doubt next week we'll be talking about chapter 4 in the Boba Fett bit.
And the shocking revelations that may unfold.
Oh, I thought you were going to do the song.
Boba Fett bit.
Boba Fett bit.
Boba Fett bit.
Boba Fett bit.
News desk.
The news.
News items. Now it's time for the news. And first up, we have a Quantum Leap reboot that's been ordered by NBC.
Yeah, we touched on it before, and after years of rumours, chatter, and legal wrangling, NBC has placed a pilot order for a reboot of sorts of the beloved classic Quantum Leap. The official tagline for the new version reads, "It's been 30 years since Dr. Sam Beckett stepped into the Quantum Leap Accelerator and vanished. Now, a team has been assembled to restart the project in hopes of understanding the mysteries behind the machine and the man who created it." Even though, didn't they know that? Because Al told them.
Yeah.
Or am I just thinking too much into that?
Well,
Yeah,
I
but
think you
it's
might be
been
thinking
30
too much
years.
into that.
But didn't Sam
Well,
and Al
technically, it
swap?
hasn't. I wasn't going to get into this right now, but technically it hasn't been 30 years since Sam stepped into the machine, unless they set this pilot in 2030 something, because wasn't it
It
set
was in the
in
future anyway,
1999?
wasn't it? I can't remember now.
I'm sure it was set not too far in the future, but like 1999 or something like that, maybe even later. But either way, it hasn't been. Well, if it has been 30 years, they got to go 30 years from whenever that was set.
Yeah. But didn't at one point Sam come back because Al got stuck as the leaper, didn't he, for a little while?
Yeah,
so he
so
had
there
a
was
chance to
Project
chat to the.
Quantum Leap, so they were there, they were finding him every time he leaped.
Yeah.
Otherwise, Al wouldn't have been able to find him. So yeah,
So and also wasn't there? I want to say Amanda. Wasn't there a chick leaper? Sorry, wasn't there a female quantum leaper, or was she an evil leaper? She was the
She was an
bad
evil
one.
The
Wasn't she?
evil one,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. But then she went good in the end, didn't she? But her owl got all assy, if I remember. I can't remember
that's
who it was
right.
now.
Yeah, something along those lines.
But anyway, this new iteration comes from Stephen Lillian and Brian Winbrant, who were co-showrunners of the NBC series La Brea, and they're going to write and executive produce. Original Quantum Leap creator and executive president Don Bellisario is also going to be on board, along with Deborah Pratt, who was also one of the originals, and she was also the voice of Ziggy, which I don't remember Ziggy talking, but she was the voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't Ziggy just a little thing in his hand? You go, Ziggy saying this.
No.
Did that
Just
come out late? Was that in the later?
No, he's
episode?
always had the little transponder thing.
Who are you and what have you done with Brett?
I don't remember Ziggy talking. It'd be Sam would there, then Al would come in and go like, "Oh yeah, like Ziggy said, you got to do this." I don't remember the computer ever talking to him. It was like what Al was the liaison. If here's some exposition,
No, Ziggy talked. Definitely. I think was even the
Voice at the
voice
start.
of the
wasn't it?
narrator at the start. Yeah.
Home.
Okay, but I don't remember it in. I remember obviously the narrator at the start.
And she was obviously in it when when they jumped back.
And meet Ziggy.
Yeah.
No, I mean obviously the one where they actually meet, the people there. But I don't remember every week the computer talking.
Yeah. Well, maybe not every week, but
I don't think, because I remember watching the first cut of the scene. I reckon that came in the later ones.
I don't know. They're all a jumbled mess as far as I'm concerned. Which season was which?
Yeah.
It's
It's one. It's
doesn't
just
fit
one.
in my head. It's
it's
episode
just-
by episode. So, and Ziggy definitely had a voice.
Just one big ball of string.
So do we know anything about potential cast in this then?
No.
No, so we've
Still
said it
very
before,
early
haven't we?
days.
So Scott Bakula isn't necessarily attached to it, but we've said it before. He's been in conversations in
In the past,
the past, and is
And the
open to
future,
a
maybe.
concern. And the future, yeah. So
But he should be. We shouldn't even see him until the final episode of season 1. Do you know what I mean? And that kind of, and then he just turns around and he's got a beard and he's been leaping still for, that kind of like that's your cliffhanger.
Without trying to work out what the premise of the new series is going to be. I mean, from what you read about, what you just read out about it, a new team's being assembled to try and work out exactly what happened and blah blah blah. Are they trying to find?
well, I mean, the last episode did end on him not making his way home. He was in the bar and he just carried on leaping. So
Yeah, it says he never came back or something, doesn't it?
That's
says
right.
That on the,
So-
yeah.
So maybe there is,
exactly. So if that's what they're going to do, that spiel that you just read out does make sense. It's like basically it could be like it's 30 years since we lost contact with Sam.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
obviously
We've got
Al's moved on. He's no longer
technology
there,
to
so
do it.
It could be something along those lines. That would be good, rather than
Maybe we should write it.
yeah, we could.
Probably be better.
and star in it and do the theme tune. So anyway, I guess over the next few months we'll find out more snippets and we can either tear it apart or get excited about it.
But maybe you never see it because it's a pilot and it never makes it to air.
We'll find it. Now this is what I call this is what is going to be what I call a pilot heavy series where
Limit series.
No, it's just a pilot heavy series where whatever happens, just you could be giving it 28 episodes, but if that pilot airs and gets shit on, that series is dead in the water. You know, like they've got to. This is one of those because it's such a beloved franchise. They've got to come in and get that right straight away. This isn't going to be one where someone will go, well, we'll give it a couple of episodes to see what happens. If it comes in and we go, no, that's not what it's like, no, and it'll be dead in the water. So hopefully, but they've got all the people involved, so I'm confident.
Yeah, I'd say you didn't read it out, but the creator of Blind Spot's also involved. He's an exec producer as well, Martin Giro.
Yeah, I said his name.
Did you? Okay. Well, either
I
way,
didn't read his quite out.
I enjoyed that.
Cool.
Oh yeah, he did tweet. What did he tweet?
He put about how it's been a
very hard
secret.
Yeah.
Go on, that's what you do.
No, it's not. This really doesn't give us much information. So there's no point in reading it out verbatim.
But yeah, he's really excited, and I can't wait for you to see what they have in store.
Neither can I. Just hope you get to see it.
Yeah.
Well, it's a bit different from the normal vampire werewolf teen dramas out there.
Well, that's where you're wrong, because Sam is actually a time-traveling vampire now.
Who glows in the sunlight.
Yeah.
So, hey, look, we're all big fans of the original. I mean, particularly me and Damon that actually watched it, and not Brett, who can't remember who Ziggy is.
Yeah, I've got the complete set on DVD, courtesy of Fancy Films.
But no, you haven't actually taken out with cellophane.
Yeah,
but
still wrapped.
Anyway, let's be hopefully optimistic, and maybe we won't be disappointed. Let's move on now. So next up in the news, the animated reconstruction of missing Doctor Who episodes has been cancelled.
Yeah, as we know, back in the dark old days of 2 channels and black and white TVs, it was commonplace to tape over and destroy old tapes rather than let them take up valuable storage space. They would see my loft. Doctor Who was no exception, so several of the original tapes for numerous episodes featuring William Hartnell and Patrick, probably the best Doctor ever, Troughton, no longer exist. Fans have tracked them down over the years. 97 episodes they remain lost with little hope of ever turning up. But, in a bizarre twist, for some reason, the audio of these episodes does exist with all the original actors' dialogue still intact. So they managed to keep all that, but just not the actual videotapes. So the BBC have commissioned several studios to produce accompanying animation to bring them to life and chuck them out in DVDs and Blu-rays and whatever else, and milk that Doctor Who cow just a little bit more. And some of them have come out have been really good. Some of them they've done a couple of Troughton ones where they've had the episodes they've got, and then the missing scenes have gone to animation, and then it's switched back again and stuff, and it works all right. It's it's the best we're going to get, so let's not moan about it. And so 26 I think have been restored, but BBC America now have withdrawn their funding from the project. So every other episode that hasn't been done yet will now be forever lost in time, unless someone else steps in and puts up the cash
as well, because the animation is probably better than anything they could have done with special effects at the time.
Yeah, because a lot of the older episodes that they have found are very, very dark, and you can just about make out what's going on. Yeah. So it is a shame, but hopefully they'll do something with them at some point.
Yeah, I think the issue was something to do with rights about it going on to Blu-ray, DVD, etc. So there's obviously some issue there, and it's probably BBC giving it to different production companies to do, and then when they're bringing out like the box sets of say like, oh look, it's series 4 of Patrick Troughton, and then they go, well, we made that one. Someone else to go, well, we did that one. Yeah, exactly.
It's just one big kerfuffle.
Right,
But
so
luckily,
next up.
they never destroyed any of the Sylvester McCoy stuff, so we'll always have that.
Oh,
Yeah.
joy.
I'm still waiting for you to
I've
come
been
around and
trying.
watch that, Damien.
Yeah, I might do that just so I can see Ace again.
No. Oh, just on a side note, because I was about to say they're all on BritBox. If anyone has got BritBox and you're not doing it, season 9 of Grange Hill has now been added to BritBox. I haven't started yet, but season 9 is the series where Zamo goes down the when Zamo gets on the drugs and it ends, with Zamo getting smacked in the mouth. Just say no and all that.
Just say no era.
Yeah, so if you haven't watched it yet, it's on BritBox now.
Come back to me when Danny Kendall's in it, and then I might pick up a subscription.
Well, Ziggy Greaves arrives at this point. He's in the first. I watched a bit of the first episode.
He was on the leather jacket.
Yeah, he was the Scouse one. So Danny Kendall, I think, is about now or just after, because they were about the same.
Far away. Yeah.
So have a look. And I put about 10 minutes of the first episode on, and it's still more gritty than anything on TV now. And that was a kid's show.
Okay, moving on. Next up on in the news, CW developing Justice U Arrowverse series led by John Diggle.
Now, I was initially excited about this because John Diggle, we're all waiting for him to be the Green Lantern. It's been hinted at. He's been in every Arrow series, every Arrowverse show this season. I mean, obviously the CW network's up for sale, but the Arrowverse is still going and growing. And a new show is in development, as we said. And Justice U will see David Ramsey return to the role of John Diggle as he trains a new group of young heroes. That bit sounds cool. I'm up for that. That sounds cool. If he's a Green Lantern as well, brilliant. And then it goes a little bit off for me. It's got, after years of fighting alongside the Green Arrow and working for Argus, Diggle embarks on a new mission to recruit 5 young metahumans to live undercover as freshmen at a prestigious university. There, he will oversee their education and train them to become heroes of tomorrow.
I thought you were all over this. It's like 21 Jump Street for you, isn't it?
No, it just sounds like that thing we were talking about weeks ago. I don't know what it was, but it was something set on a university campus with superheroes. I don't know if it was a comic book or...
Oh, was that the Brazilian-y one? There was a Brazilian-y one a little while back. One like a foreign language one.
I wasn't listening, but there was something about university superhero school nonsense.
Yeah, and it's just kind of, do they all have to be at the same school and they're all going to wear similar colours to what their character is? What they should do, if they're going to do it, there should be 5 other kids there that wear Power Ranger colours and are just in the background all the time, just to see if anyone notices. Do things like that, make it a bit more.
One of them, Tommy.
Yeah, make it tongue in cheek.
And have a look, Professor in a wheelchair or something. I don't know.
Yeah, little bulb like the wheelchair going past every now and then. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm available, but anyway, yeah. But Diggle's a cool cat. He's done well.
Did you say Diggle's a cool cat?
He did.
Yeah.
He genuinely just said that.
I seriously, you're not. You are you? You're like a pod person from the planet Mars. Bring back Brett. Bring back Brett.
I said things like that before.
I know, but it always felt wrong and dirty.
But I just don't see this working. But then I've been proved wrong before. So
have they not just done enough of them now?
But no, you can all. I'm all up for developing new characters and giving their own shows. But when it's like, well, basically they want to do another show, and then they're like, put Diggle in it. John, like some money for a year, and I bet at the end of the year he'll like, you guys have done well now. I must travel on and find other people and appear in other pilots because I'm the last main character left anyone cares about from the original Arrowverse.
All right, well, let's move on from one multiverse or Arrowverse to a Potterverse. So Daniel Radcliffe to star as Weird Al Yankovic in a new biopic for Roku.
Yeah, I didn't actually know about this, and I'm quite excited. But Roku have announced that the former Harry Potter actor will play Grammy-winning musician and pop culture icon Weird Al Yankovic in Weird, the Al Yankovic story for the streaming service. The film will be produced by Funny or Die and will star Daniel Radcliffe in the title role. According to the press release, it holds nothing back, exploring every facet of Yankovic's life, from his meteoric rise to fame with early hits like Eat It and Like a Surgeon, to his torrid celebrity love affairs and famously depraved lifestyle. Weird, the Yankovic story takes audiences on a truly unbelievable journey through Yankovic's life and career, from gifted child prodigy to the greatest musical legend of all time. Cough, cough. Of the project, Yankovic said, "When my last movie, UHF, came out in 1989, I made a solemn vow to my fans that I would release a major motion picture every 33 years like clockwork. I'm very happy to say we're on schedule, and I'm absolutely thrilled that Daniel Radcliffe will be portraying me in the film. I have no doubt whatsoever that this is the role future generations will remember him for." Filming starts in early February, and we don't have a release date yet, but Weird Al's a cool guy. I like him.
I
love that quote. I really do.
Yeah.
I think that's brilliant.
I'm sure there is a great story to be had in the life and times of Weird Al Yankovic. I'm just not sure whether Daniel Radcliffe is the right person to portray Weird Al.
A geek with glasses, yeah. I think he's got it down. He just needs a perm. I love the bit about his torrid celebrity love affairs. Yeah, right. I think it's just going to be the most. I don't know. I think it's just going to be quite. I think people are going to expect one thing, and it's just going to be like, okay, now please can I do a song based on Beat It? Yeah, okay. Oh, brilliant. Thank you, Michael. And it's just going to be like really nice and polite because he's one of those people that no one's ever had a bad word to say about him. You know, there's never been a Weird Al's never driven a Porsche into a swimming pool or through a hotel lobby or killed anyone through drunk driving or
and we're always hearing about so and so refused to let him do the parody, and he's gone, all right, fair enough. He's not gone out on. He's not taken to Twitter and gone, this guy's an arsehole. Look at
son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Although to be fair, they didn't have Twitter in the 80s.
This is true, but he's still doing it, isn't he? He's still doing. I mean, I might be misremembering this, but I think Lady Gaga refused him.
I know you're probably
doing
right,
one.
but
I'm sure
still is doing them, yeah.
But he hasn't. There's been no big kind of furore about it, and like him going on record as saying, what a bitch. He's just gone, all right, fair enough.
Yeah. And like, I mean, the one thing he has done over the years, he's in better shape now than he was in the 80s. When I saw him start work, I thought, oh, you got enough money for a personal trainer now. He's not quite looking like Rambo that he did in his UHF, but he's not doing badly.
I forgot about that film. I might go back and read it.
Yeah, I was just thinking that myself.
That's one of the first films I watched on Sky Movies.
That's what started the dude that ended up in Seinfeld, wasn't it?
George Costanza.
No, the other one, the one that said the M word and no one likes anyway. He was the janitor in UHF, and then he gets to be like the kids' TV star on the channel, and it all goes. The ratings go huge. Stanley Spadelsky. I don't know how I remembered that.
And finally, the news. So HBO have acquired the rights to make a new Degrassi series.
Yeah, the Canadian franchise is back once again. The show that originally debuted in 1979 with the kids of Degrassi Street, and then moved on to Degrassi Junior High, Degrassi High. Then we had Degrassi Talks as well. Then we had Degrassi The Next Generation, then Next Class, and now we've got Degrassi. It's coming to HBO. It is going to be 10-hour-long episodes and will premiere in 2023 with production beginning this summer in Toronto. So it's in the original places. It's keeping the hour-long format. But it's HBO. And now Degrassi, we do have an article I wrote on cultfaction.com if you want to go and have a look about why Degrassi matters in regards to kids shows. If you're not familiar with it, it was like a high school in Canada, and a lot of the stuff they touched on was very cutting edge. I mean, some of the episodes even got banned from British TV to be shown to kids because teenagers took drugs or got pregnant, or there's some quite edgy stuff. I mean, one of the kids got AIDS in one of them and things like that, and it was all
I just remember the one where I think the dad made one of the kids smoke a whole box of cigars to stop them smoking.
Well, yeah, I mean, you wouldn't get that on EastEnders nowadays, but back then it was. But back then it was like, on a kids show you could do it, and I remember the big one was the abortions one when they did the abortion thing and stuff like that, and tattoos, and they covered a lot of stuff. So, and they never. What made it such a good series is, again, like Grange Hill in its day, season 9 available now on BritBox. It didn't talk down to kids. It didn't talk down to young people. It just kind of showed them what it was. Parents were disgusted by some of them because, how can you put that on a kids program, whatever? And it was like, well, that's what's out there. This is what kids are actually dealing with. This is what's happening in the playground, whatever. But the fact that it's going to be on HBO kind of excites me anymore, because for a show that was so edgy anyway, when it was on like standard broadcasting, a channel like HBO, known for like Oz, The Sopranos, Game of Thrones, I want to go to that school.
You want to teach there?
Yeah, if I was a young person, I'd want to go to that school. Yes, yeah. I don't know if I want to teach there because I might get killed in the first episode. So yeah, no, I think this could be a new era in children's television.
Cool.
Any other latest news? Anything been happening since we've been on air?
No,
there's nothing further. Then it's just time to call it a day, or ring the time bell on the Cult Faction podcast episode for this week. So this has been the Cult Faction podcast episode 44, The Streets of Tatoophenia. Be sure to check us out on all the streaming services, on cultfaction.com. We're everywhere. TikTok, Twitter, Twitch, or whatever it is, Instagram, Facebook.
And rate our podcasts and review us on your podcast apps, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. Give us a like, leave a comment.
We may even be on some bus shelters. Who knows?
Any recommendations for films I should watch that are in a similar vein to Lieutenant Jangles? Email us at cultfactionpodcast@mail.com.
I wonder what responses you're going to get now.
Or like us on Facebook and have a chat with us. It's all good.
So all that's left to do now is to wrap up. So I've been Paul Hawkins, your host for this evening, and as ever been joined by
Brett Summers,
Damien Hicks,
and it's a good night from me.
A good night from me.
And bye-bye from me.
And that's a goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Ta-ta.
Farewell.
Uwin.
Superman.
I like swearing and boobs now.
We'll keep talking.
3, 2, 1, hit it!
And ever, as ever.
Is that all saying? Huh. Oh. In a not too distant future. I cannot find
Your penis.
Spider-Man No Way Home has jumped to number 4 on the all-time box office top 10.
Yeah.
Well, that just goes to show the state of cinema, doesn't it?
Shut your mouth.